Major chaos in Canada as petty tyrant Justin Trudeau makes good on his promise to crack down on the Freedom Truckers. A massive police presence arresting and tussling with protesters on the streets of Ottawa after taking two of their leaders into custody. Some truckers saying they're ready to leave with honor. But officials apparently aren't letting them go and are impounding their vehicles. And as we've been telling you, the protesters are not the only ones getting harassed. A cafe owner who got doxxed after donating to the cause, giving an emotional interview to our very own Jesse Waters.
I gave a donation to fill a gas tank of someone so they didn't have to sleep in -30 in the cold that night. And I think that decision speaks to my humanity and not to political beliefs. Someone draped a large bed sheet over our sign. I'm sorry. It's been a tough few days. And I think, the sign read, "Tammy supports terrorists."
Okay, Jesse, you spoke with her. I mean, this woman gave what many would consider a minor donation, and she's being punished for it, socially ostracized, criticized, and being called a terrorist.
She's not a political person. She said she was worried because it was -30 degrees outside. So she gave the donation so truckers could buy gas and buy food. And the next thing you know, she's had her whole life turned upside down. They've vandalized her place. They've called her all sorts of names, and they've called her a Nazi. And it's broken her heart. And it's a sad thing to see because she just wanted everybody to come together and show respect for each other. And she thought this could have been handled much differently. And she was pleading for the prime minister to just kind of do what leaders do and bring everybody together and stop dividing everybody. And ultimately, the mandates are the most divisive thing. We've seen it in here, in this country, now up there. They are divisive, and you got to get rid of them. He should have had a maple syrup summit. He should have brought everybody together. How easy would it have been for him to say, you know what, guys, we're going to pause the mandate for 14 days. Let's get together. You guys leave, open the bridge. Let's sit down, have a little dinner, maybe some waffles, and then we'll straighten everything out. At least it would have gotten people off the edge a little bit, but he didn't do that. He went full Mao on them. And now look what we have. We have a whole country of people at each other's throats. And where's Bieber? Right? He's the most famous Canadian out there. He hasn't said a word about this.
Well, Greg, as we talked about yesterday, you've got
That's what everybody's asking.
You've got Justin Trudeau, who says that the country he admires most is China, and he himself is acting like a dictator. All he had to do was start talking with these truckers in the beginning, but instead he calls the Jewish member of parliament, the conservative, she stands with the flag-waving swastika people, and now the Canadians are doing the same thing to someone who wants to contribute. I mean, can Trudeau get this back, or is his legacy going to be one of a tyrant?
Well, if this Canadian girl spent half the time on communicating with the truckers as he does on his hair, this would have been fixed. He should not be prime minister. He should be a wedding DJ at a mid-sized hotel in Niagara Falls. That's where he belongs. Does the media have such a severe head injury that they don't see how comical this contrast is? When people were burning down cities in 2020, leaders were saying, give them space. And here they're saying, oh my God, these people are honking their horns, slash their tires, take their gas, take their kids, take their pets, arrest them. It's an interesting contrast. But if you want to see who the good guys are, this is what I do when I'm not sure. Because I do think that,
Wait, you're not sure about
what?
this?
No, I
Breaking news alert.
I'm a contemplative guy. But, I want to make sure that the truckers are respectful and they're law-abiding and that they're good people. And so far, they have been. But you want to look on who's on what side, right? So I'm looking who supports the truckers and who don't. Well, the people who support the truckers, Elon Musk, who just gave billions to fight poverty, Jordan Peterson, an amazing Canadian philosopher, Reason Magazine, Nick Gillespie, that means libertarians are behind him. You got prominent liberals like Glenn Greenwald. I could go on with the people that support the truckers. Just by going on Twitter, you can see but then you look at the other side. All it is the dying legacy media, the dying cacklers of CNN. They're the elitists at the Washington Post. They are so detached from this class of people. It's so easy for them to call them rubes. But I look at the other side and I go, I want to be with those people. I mean, Elon Musk, smartest guy in America. If that guy's with the truckers, count me in.
You think he's
the smartest guy?
Leslie, he's the smartest guy on the planet.
The truth is, Leslie, that there are now 100 checkpoints. There are 100 checkpoints. It's almost like East Berlin. And they're telling these truckers, if you have an animal and we arrest you, you may never see the animal again. And we're going to call in Canadian Child Protective Services if you have children with you. Your kids are going to be taken into custody. I mean, you've got to admit that this is so beyond the pale of a peaceful demonstration that is objecting to a year and a half of being locked down. And, you know, they're over the top here, wouldn't you say?
I would say let's look at the people of Canada and specifically of Ottawa. And what are they saying? If you look at the polls, they're not with the Freedom Convoy or Elon Musk. If you look at the polls, they're with the vaccine mandate. And if you look at harassment, there is a family that had a rainbow flag at their home and they were harassed. Wait.
Bad appling.
There were homeless people and people working at a homeless shelter that were harassed. In addition,
What does harass mean? Yelled at? Or are you talking about assault?
There are individuals in this community who have had to close their businesses, and it's hurt them economically.
What about what happened in this country?
They fear for their security. So
what about what happened in the United States?
Is Justin Trudeau and the police who met with the organizers of this movement originally, who is his responsibility to? These Freedom Convoy truckers or the people that elected him?
Let me ask you a question, Leslie. Leslie, the problem is, and I said this yesterday, I said Parliament has to vote on this Emergencies Power Act.
They punted.
And they punted.
Absolutely.
They don't want to vote on it because they are with the truckers. So you can tell me that the Canadians were supporting Trudeau. This guy is out of his mind.
I don't agree they're with the truckers, and I agree that they should have punted. And the reason is, this is not World War II, okay? And that's really, if you look at the situation, the scenario, what this
Are we going to have to liberate Canada?
So we saw the rise of
Regime
fascism
change.
in World War II, and that's exactly what this is. Justin Trudeau has turned Ottawa and Canada into a fascist state when you have people who are forcibly being pulled from their lines, arrested, having their vehicles confiscated so they can't work, having their bank accounts frozen so they can't spend money, they can't pay their bills. What is the one thing we heard when we were having this massive supply chain issue where people couldn't get any supplies into local drugstores or Walgreens, that we need more truckers. We need them. It's a tough job.
They were heroes
It's a
just a month
thankless
ago.
job.
By the way,
Yes,
this convoy has affected the supply chain on both sides of the border.
Well,
And maybe if the prime minister had acted rationally and in good faith, like Jesse's recommendation is actually the best one I've heard. Suspend the mandates for 2
Smartest
weeks.
man in America.
Hammer everything out. And then once you have an agreement, then commerce, it will be free-flowing, not only from the moment you actually sit down, but until there is a resolution. Justin Trudeau is an embarrassment to the Northern Hemisphere, and he should be kicked out of
And
humanity.
to all those people who add to their eyebrows because his are falling off all the time. But what do you think about the fact that he just disappeared? He wouldn't even talk to them.
Well, a couple of things. Think about our nation. I know we're a greater nation than Canada. Sorry, Canadians. But would a president, and I don't care if they're Democrat or Republican, would a president sit down?
He would
with
send
people,
someone. He would send someone out to talk to him. Trudeau didn't do it.
Yes, he did. The head of the police sat down with the organizers.
The head of the police,
Yes.
who
That
quit
was not a
because
representative of Justin Trudeau.
That's right, and he quit.
But I don't think the Prime Minister
right.
of Canada, any more than the President of the United
And that
States, should
chief
be
quit.
sitting down
And it's
with
not
everybody
because-
who has
But he can
agreed
make
and
speeches
everybody
about
who
it with his
protests.
handsome hair.
Everybody.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.